What's up, dirt bags? Episode 113 of the Midwest Angler Podcast. Scott Sturman, Matt Deitch, freshly back from Hooked on Hardwater, coming to you a couple days late.
Couple days late.
Day late, dollar short.
The dirt bags can wait.
Yeah, that's right, you dirt bags. You guys can wait. The bags of dirt can wait. So, no, like we mentioned, we are back from Hooked on Hardwater. Obviously this episode's going to be coming out on Wednesday morning. We're recording it the night before. We don't have to be transparent about that. I brought along the computer. I thought, hey, maybe we'll record a little bit of something out there, but we just never really had that time.
There's really not time
so busy
to do it.
Setting hooks at,
right.
And doing the 3 Fs.
Dang right.
You don't have time to record no stinking podcasts for the dirt bags.
That's right.
So
busy men.
Yep. And last night, Matt had his last basketball game of the year.
Last basketball game, season's done. So there was that.
Yep. And now we're here on Tuesday night, and we had a little bit of free time. We got some guests lined up. Yep, you heard that. There was an S at the end of guests. First time ever for a double guest, I think.
Double interviews.
I think
so. I don't think we've ever done a double interview.
I don't know why I'm asking you. You're the old one.
Right.
So
you young bucks should know this stuff.
Yeah, I've gotten hit in the head a couple
back
times.
Back when I was your day,
yeah.
or your age, back
TVs weren't even color back then. There was when you were my age, there was no such thing as podcasts.
That's right. There wasn't.
There probably was. There probably was.
Maybe.
How old are you?
39.
39?
Yeah.
Holy moly.
See, it explains.
39.
It explains a lot, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh.
I do look young for my age, so, and act even younger.
I don't know about that. Yeah, Matt, you sure are right about that.
Respect your elders. Scott.
Yeah, my bad. No, like I said, back from Hooked on Hardwater, we had an absolute blast out there fishing. We had a blast, down at the Club for Boys, meeting our boys and everything else. But we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. We can't just get you with the treasure right off the get go.
That's right.
We're gonna lead you along a little bit. That's right. Otherwise, I think that's mostly it. I don't know that I've got any housekeeping items that I got to take care of. I don't know. We got the second Bassmaster tournament underway. Right in front of me, I got a trophy right here.
Yeah, that's a pretty sweet looking trophy, man.
Yep. You guys can't see it, but take my word for it and take Matt's word for it that it's freaking awesome. It says the Midwest Angler Podcast Fantasy Fishing 2021 Champion, and that'll be awarded to whoever wins at the end of the year, and I'm basically figuring that it's just going to sit right where it is on the podcast table there for years and years and years to come.
Sure, the way it's going right now, it's sure as heck can come
Justin
with
Atkins didn't even catch a fish in the first day.
Well, yeah, I know. It's crazy. There wasn't much fish caught.
I don't know, man. You're an Elite Series angler.
I'm telling you, it was tough. I thought it was pretty cool that Gussie caught him using an old northern Minnesota, Canada walleye trick to catch him.
Really?
Yeah, just a fluke in a jig head. A finesse
worm or finesse minnow. Yeah.
That's all he did.
Minnow. That's
he gave love to Ron Linder and the Linders.
No kidding.
Yep.
Wow.
Talking about it.
That's awesome. So alrighty. Well, back to Hooked on Hardwater. Enough with that bass stuff. We can sit here forever and try to tell you guys about how awesome this program is, whatever. But I think to really have you guys truly understand how great it is, me and Matt thought that it'd be a good idea to get the outdoor program director from the Rapid City Club for Boys, Maggie Young, on the phone and chat about it. Maggie busts her tail freaking year round.
She does.
And I don't know. She does absolutely spectacular with the boys. And I guess without further ado, we're going to get over to Maggie. Hey, Maggie, how's it going?
I'm pretty great. Just wrapped up a good day with the boys.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you taking time out, after a day with the boys to still sit at work and talk to us about the Rapid City Club for Boys. Maggie, to get it started off, why don't you tell us what your job is there at the club?
So I'm the outdoor program director, and so I oversee all the outdoor, um, everything that we do outdoors. And then in the summer I've got an assistant, and so all the different trips that we take, that's what I do.
Awesome. Now, you didn't grow up in Rapid City, correct?
Correct. I actually was born in Texas, grew up in Northwest Arkansas, and I was going to community college in Arkansas and transferred to BH to study outdoor ed, and that's how I got here 4 years ago. So. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Well, you picked the right spot. I mean, I guess I don't know what Northwest Arkansas is like, but I know how special the Black Hills are, and yeah, I don't know. I guess if I could go anywhere, that might be where I end up.
Now, what are some of the outdoor activities that you do with the kids at the club?
Like today, we started a fire with a flint and steel, and we roasted marshmallows. So that's what some days look like. Where we're at the club, we just play in the garden, and there's a swing out there, and we dig in the dirt. Some days, roast marshmallows, and then other days we go ice fishing. That was a more recent program that we started. We will go hiking. We go, open regular fishing. My favorite is backpacking, so hopefully go backpacking in the Badlands this summer. The Boys Club has a cabin out in outside of Hill City, and so we'll take the boys up there. We'll shoot BB guns. We'll do archery. We'll hike. We'll get up really early and listen to the elk bugling and anything that's outside. Even if we will wear water shoes and go out to the creeks, and we'll just play in the water, or we'll pull nets up and look at the water bugs, and we'll pull out our nice dichotomous key and see what kind of creatures are in there. We have fly rods, so we're kind of that's a baby program too, that we're starting up a fly fishing program, and we fly tie. We have started lure making. We do a lot of things, so.
That is very, very cool. I mean, obviously the easy thing to do, would be to give the kids a basketball and say, hey, go shoot hoops, which you guys do have an absolute killer outdoor gymnasium there. But, yeah. I mean, these are skills that, starting a fire with flint and steel, fly fishing, ice fishing, even just, basic hiking. This is stuff that these kids are going to get to learn, that hopefully someday they get to pass down to their kids. And it definitely is cool that you guys don't just take the easy route.
Yeah. That's what got me into it, was somebody whenever I was young, just, flint and steel fire, and then you just feel proud about that, and then you're like, what else can I do? So
right.
I agree. I think it's really awesome that, we've gone on tours at different boys and girls clubs in the area, and they've been amazing, and they have awesome facilities, but none of them have an outdoor program, and so we really are unique.
Awesome. Now, Maggie, for us over here in Northwest Iowa, and, for the people, listening, on the eastern half of South Dakota, possibly out, Wisconsin, Minnesota, whatever, I don't think we truly realize some of the obstacles that these kids in Rapid City face, that it is not just a small percent of the population that is under the poverty level. This is a real deal out there. What are some of the obstacles that, the kids in Rapid City face?
Yeah, and I think it's important to know too that, people even in Rapid City don't know about it too.
Right.
I have plenty of friends that have grown up here, and unless they had heard my stories from the Boys Club, they would not even know. So we've got a special position where we're very intimate with the families, and we know what's going on. And I sure didn't know when I was from Arkansas moving here a lot of the challenges that the people in this area face. So we're located kind of in the center of Rapid City. This area has a lot of low-income families. It's not a requirement for our boys to be low income or in any kind of strife or anything at home. But a majority of the kids, I would say, now don't hold me to it, but I'd say like 40 to 60% of the boys. That's like a pretty big window, but a lot of those boys are probably at or below the poverty level. So yeah, I mean, to name a few challenges, you know, the kids show up to ice fishing the day of Hooked on Hardwater and they don't have any of their stuff. Where we had, sit home stuff with the family, and we'll call, and you'll call one number one day and then the next day that phone number is disconnected. And so the challenges that we face are, I want to take the kids out sledding, but they show up to the boys club and they don't have a winter coat on, or whatever it is. And sometimes that's just kids, and then other times it's the family. And so we offer a lot of assistance to some of our families, more so than just providing, watching their kids and feeding them so they have all their meals. We do a lot more than that, and our grant writing lady, Sarah Gentry, does an amazing job of providing and showing up where, a kid breaks his glasses, and that's very expensive and it's unexpected. We're going to make it happen to where we can get that kid glasses. Or we have a program that Clay Quinton, he's our director of, I don't know specifically his title, but he deals with parents and kids, behavior stuff. And if a kid's wearing a pair of tennis shoes that are all beat up and there's holes in them, we go in and we take that kid out and we get him a new pair of tennis shoes. So, and that happens quite often. So there's a lot of things where, it's really easy to go out fishing, but if their basic safety need, their hierarchy of needs aren't met, you wonder why a kid can't, answer some philosophical question. Well, if his belly's not full of food and he's not, stuff's not good at home, he's not going to be able to meet those different things. And so the club really does provide all that. And anyway, so I hope that answers your question okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Now, it's interesting to hear, that the meal part, it was brought to our attention the other night at the banquet that there was actually a young kid, a boy out on the ice that went back and tried to fill his bag up with some hot dogs before we left the ice on Saturday morning, because he wasn't 100% sure if he had food at home. And I mean, if that doesn't pull at your, tug at your heartstrings, I don't know. It's hard for me to wrap my brain around, how hard that's got to be. And for a kid that young, he doesn't understand why.
Yeah, and they will do that. They think about that all the time, and a lot of our boys, they're thinking about their family first. If they get a gift card from a drawing, they're like, I want to give this to my mom, or that's their thinking. And so a lot of them have to grow up a little bit more than other kids that wouldn't have to worry about that. And anyway, the club is providing a place for them to not have to worry about that. Like, hey, just be a kid. You don't have to worry about food. And during COVID, our kitchen staff, and actually all the staff, even program people who weren't connected with the food program, we all came in masked up whenever the boys weren't allowed to be here, because a lot of the kids, they're getting food from us the same, like when they go to school, they get breakfast at school and lunch at school, and then when they come to the club, they get snack and they get dinner, and that is the food that they get. And the schools in this area send home bags of food, canned food and stuff on Fridays. And then during COVID, we were bagging up food and sending food out, twice a week for some of the families. I mean, I'm not going to get into specifics, but we had families with way too many kids and way too many adults in very small areas, and we would go and deliver to the house, and the amount of food that they needed and that they wouldn't have got if we hadn't brought it to them it'll blow your mind. But we were there, and the fact that we were able to get the grants and have the manpower to serve all our boys so that they were all fed is amazing. So, yeah. That's
awesome. Now, another point that I really feel like we need to highlight is, this is not a program and a club that costs, $100 a month to be a part of. It's $10 a year, and you guys are solely funded off private donation, right?
Yes, private donations. We are funded by grants. And yeah, the boys we don't make them worry about that. And honestly, a lot of them, their family can't even pay that entry fee. And so we have scholarship for that.
Wow.
Because that can be hard. And
Right.
so,
Yeah.
yep. They don't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about the food. And then even for, events like Hooked on Hardwater, I get parents that are stressing about all the gear checklists I send home, and I stress to them, do not worry about getting this stuff. We've got really good people that care, and they're, taking care of the clothes, so don't worry about it.
That's great. Now, like we mentioned, private donation is the biggest thing, and food is not cheap. With you guys sending home food, the clothes that you guys provide and everything else. I mean, you guys got a full staff and just a killer awesome building. So that leads us to the outdoor rec program that you're the leader of, and it brings us to the Hooked on Hardwater event.
Yeah.
So last weekend, the Hooked on Hardwater event, I got to assume is that the biggest fundraising deal for the outdoor program of the year?
Oh yeah. Yes. That's the bread and butter.
Nice.
That's the big deal. Yeah, that's like Christmas for me and the boys.
Well, I mean, you even had your dad come up for it.
Yeah, which is amazing. He had an awesome time. That's my third year, and you guys know it's hard to explain it in words, and I just wanted him to come, and I worked his butt off.
Well, that's good.
And I needed it. But yeah, I mean, it's a big deal, and I didn't realize when I first started I had, I remember I started in September of 2018. And Chantel, our director of development, came in my office in November and is telling me about this ice fishing thing in February. And I'm like, why are you in my office? It's November. Like, there's not even ice on the lakes. I've never, I was just confused why she was in my office talking to me about this thing. And then when I experienced it, I went home and slept the whole next day. And that's how it's been every year. So it's a big deal.
Well, you talk about that, and we have the easy parts. The pros, they have the easy parts. We get to show up, we come down to the club, meet the boys, we hang out, we have a good time, do all that. It's a lot of work to put this event together. You start talking about starting in November, starting to get the wheels rolling in there. I mean, it's a year-round thing, but I mean,
oh yeah,
I think we all truly know what goes into it from you guys' standpoint and appreciate it. I mean, there's a lot of work by you guys, the staff there at the club. What kind of, when do you starting to get everything ready to go for the Hooked on Hardwater event, sending parent letters home, making sure the kids have all the ready, clothes and everything?
Well, the kids start bugging me in December, and they're like, "Can I get a permission slip?" And I'm like, "Not till February 1st, and then I'll hand them out." So that's when I start getting bugged by the kids. But yeah, about in November, the Boys Club thrift store, which is also, I meant to mention that as well. That's the club to sustain this amazing facility and all the people that we have different income streams, and so one of them is having the Boys Club thrift store, and they do an amazing job there, and they're a huge part of Hooked on Hardwater. I mean, they all have a hand in it, and so one of the many things that they do is when it starts getting cold and people donate their winter gear to the thrift store, they set it aside for me. I have a list of stuff that sizes of clothes that I need, that I'm thinking I need boots and jackets and stuff. So they're sifting through everything and getting the good stuff and putting it aside for me. So that starts early. I start talking to parents. I think last year, when COVID wasn't a thing, we had a family night, so all the parents were there. And so in probably January, I had a table set up, and I'm talking to every parent for a couple minutes because it's kind of to explain to them what Hooked on Hardwater is all about and why they need their kid to come and what they need to bring. So that, that's a whole night. And I remember the last time I did that, I think I was sitting there talking to parents for probably 4 hours straight, just all the different parents. And I got, 70 permission slips handed out that night. And then I guess last year and this year, we've had a different way of checking gear out to boys. So historically, we've had all the gear kind of set up at the club, and the night the pros get here and there's a meet and greet with the boys, the pros will take their boy to go pick out all their clothes. And the boys used to spend the night, and we've kind of taken that away because it seemed like kind of an overload for the kids, and by the time they were fishing with their pro, they were just dead tired. So they go home, and we want them to spend as most time as they can with their pro, just playing and having fun and not worrying about the clothes. So I actually every Wednesday in February, the boys would come, and I had gear checkout. So I had my area kind of set up like a shop, and I'd walk around with them, and we'd go get the boots that fit them and the socks that fit them with, the wool socks, and made sure they fit with the boots. And so that took a couple hours each day. So it is a good amount of prep, but it's worth it. And it's kind of like it builds up to it. So it just makes that day the best because they're like, okay, how many more days till Hooked on Hardwater? I'm like, okay, we got like 2 weeks. We got like 2 days.
That's the way Matt is too. He keeps bugging me. He's like, hey, how many more days till Hooked on Hardwater? I just had to tell him, like, Matt, like 360.
Yeah, I've already started texting him. Scott's like, dude, you're going to have to relax on the texting, all right?
Yeah, I know. I keep thinking that too. I keep liking all the pictures people are posting, and I'm like, oh, I want them to keep posting, but I guess we got to wait a whole nother year. But
right. Now, Maggie, you're 3 years into this, and looking back, what is the highlight for you? What is that one time, whether it was a fish catch or whether it was a, somebody smiling or crying or whatever, what sticks out as the most memorable moment for you?
I guess every year there's always the moment when the boys want to do a snowball fight with me, and they're like last year, I think that was my favorite time, was we were just throwing snowballs at each other, and they'd show me all their fish, and I love that and stuff. But most of the time at the club, like when we're out on the ice, the boys are like, Maggie, and you guys are like, oh, they just have this great bond. And yeah, I mean, they like love me out on the ice, but when I'm at the club, I'm like, hey, you want to go fishing? And they're like, nah, I want to play video games. So like they just, I don't know what it is about the Hooked on Hardwater Day, but they're like, we love Maggie. And we get along too when we're at the club, but I'm always like, this feels good. But yeah, this snowball fight, I think that's kind of my favorite moment. And this year I was like, I'm too old for this. I just had a birthday, and I'm not ready, and I don't have gloves. But that's probably my favorite moment is just, they're just happy, and they want to show you how excited they are about the fish, and then you just throwing snowballs at each other is fun.
Well, that means you're doing something right. I mean, you're doing a good job with those boys. I mean, for them, yeah, they might be a pain sometimes when nobody else is around. I know how that goes.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
How we see it when they're genuinely, that's genuine excitement when they see you out there and they want to share what they're experiencing with you, and that just means that you're doing a heck of a great job with all those kids.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
No, we, like Matt said, we appreciate all your hard work. It is funny, like you can ask those kids, like, so do you like your teacher at school? And they're like, no. Well, what about like Maggie and everyone at the club? Oh yeah. Like they truly do. They love you guys. And that, like Matt said, that means you guys are doing something right. And we definitely appreciate all your hard work. So,
thank you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we definitely appreciate you, taking time out to sit and chat with us too. I think the listeners probably got a little bit more of an inside look of, what not only the Hooked on Hardwater event, but the Club for Boys in Rapid City is all about. And for that, we thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for asking me. And I like your guys' podcast a lot. I told Matt that the other day. I'm like, dang, I think your podcast is so cool. So I appreciate you.
She said she told me that, not you.
I believe that. I mean, it's kind of.
I don't know who I'm talking. You guys sound the same.
No,
we don't sound the same.
Oh.
No, you had to have told Matt that, but no. I mean,
I totally did.
it's one of those deals, like you always try to build up the weakest link. So I mean, I appreciate you for pumping up my friend Maggie.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, totally.
all righty. Well,
Awesome.
Maggie, thanks a lot for joining us, and we'll talk at you next year.
Alrighty, sounds good.
See ya. And that was Maggie Young from the Rapid City Club for Boys, and absolutely just an important piece to the puzzle, in creating Hooked on Hardwater.
Definitely. And such a cool place to go and visit. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
It was really neat to get to see like the whole thing this year, all the renovations that they did. It's an immaculate complex.
Oh my gosh. I mean, so just to kind of set the tone for you guys, I mean, we have been there before, and we've seen, the main entry, I don't know, the main room, I guess I'll call it. And, I mean, there's arts and crafts rooms off of there. There's cafeterias off of there. There's
a wood shop. I mean,
yeah, right. I mean, a lot of, good quality stuff in there. One or two gymnasiums, for the older boys and for the younger boys. But this year was the first year for us to experience the other side, and they have got a freaking basketball court with a roof over top of it.
That was sweet.
And all the sides are open, and you could be out there playing in the rain, playing whatever, but you still get to be outdoors, breathing in fresh air.
Yeah.
When I saw that, it was like, wow.
That was cool.
I mean, this is something. I don't know. I wish our town had something like that.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like the kids of the community would really benefit from having something like that. But like we just mentioned with Maggie, all this comes from private donation, and I mean, that's not something that you just throw up with a couple hunks of lumber and a hoop. I mean, this was a state of the art place.
Yeah, didn't they just do like a major fundraising campaign for out there, and they were expecting it to take 2 years, and it took them 2 months or 10 months to raise
$2.1 million or something like that, and they raised it in like half the time they
10 months
were open.
I think, as I remember what they
Right.
said.
And I believe that was for retirement for the employees and some other stuff. But I don't know. I mean, it's just truly incredible what they got going there on the other side. And my first year actually going out there, as Maggie kind of talked about, how they used to have a checklist where you got all the gear.
Yeah.
My first year with Chelino, that's what we did, and we actually had to go through. Okay, so we need socks, and we would go and we would check out a pair of socks, and we'd check out some snow pants, and we'd check out a coat and gloves and hat and whatever. And I gotta say, I mean, it was a lot more work. And, you just crossed your fingers like, oh, my God, please, remember this in the morning. Please still have it, and I think so far it's really been working the way that they're doing it this new way. So
definitely,
hopefully it continues that way.
Right. Like you said, and like she said, it gives the pro and the kid more time to just hang out with each other.
Right.
And so I think that it's nice that it's that way.
Right. And they used to have all the kids spend the night and, to make sure that they did come in the morning, because let's be honest. I mean, when you're asking kids to show up at the club at, 5:30 a.m., 6 a.m., I mean, let's be honest. The success rate of early morning drop off is not exactly spectacular. And, but, I think, I don't remember even who it was talking about, when you get 50 kids in a gymnasium and one kid farts, then they're all awake and they're all laughing, and now we got 15 more minutes. And, not to mention just the stress on the workers. Like, you got to kind of send everybody home at 9:30, 10 o'clock and, let these people go home, get one nice night of sleep and, kick back and, get ready for the next day, because, this is not just a 24-hour deal. This is like a 72-hour mega event. And, let them go home, sleep in their own bed and, know that in the morning when they wake up, they're 100% as good as and refreshed as what they possibly can be. And then we can give these boys 100%.
Exactly right.
One of the really cool stories with Hooked on Hardwater this year was at the banquet, and Chris Peters getting up and kind of talking about his story and, being a Club for Boys member and having it come full circle. And, me and Matt both thought and Chris is a good buddy of ours. We've been wanting to have him on, but I mean, I really think that this is the time for Chris to, to kind of tell his story and show what it means to him. And so, yeah, we thought, hey, let's get Chris on and on the Hooked on Hardwater recap show. So we're going to get over to Chris. Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Good, guys. Thank you for having me on.
Well, thanks for joining us.
You bet.
No, not a problem. It's a privilege.
Yeah. No, Chris, why don't we start off and why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you from?
Well, I live out here in Rapid. I was raised out here in Rapid. I was born in Midland, Texas, and was moved up here at a young age and went through all my schooling and graduated high school from here and left for a couple of years for the Army. I was gone for 6 years and I missed home, so I moved back to South Dakota.
Awesome. I didn't realize that you were born down in Texas.
Yeah, Midland, Texas.
Nice. Now, Chris, obviously we're talking to you, and this is kind of an HOH, recap episode. How many years have you been a pro for the Hooked on Hardwater event?
This past season was my 5th year.
Fifth, nice.
Very nice. Now, Chris, this kind of comes full circle for you. You actually, like you mentioned, grew up there in Rapid City, and you were actually a boys club member, correct?
I was a member in boys club from around 89 or 90 to about 93, 94.
That's awesome. Now, at the banquet, you got up and talked, and you remember Dave Euler back in your days, and Dave Euler still to this day is somebody that you look up to, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Mr. Euler, he's a very, very good man. And, and this is just me speaking, but I don't think the club would be where it's at if it wasn't for that man.
Well, I believe that.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has a great appreciation for Dave, and it's fun to see him, how he interacts with the kids out there and the adults too.
Oh, absolutely. It's the man. He's just a phenomenal man.
Right. Now, obviously, this event is special for me. It's special for Matt. It's special for everyone else. Do you think it's a smidge more special for you just because you were a boys club member?
Well, I don't know if I can take credit for that. This is, I think you and I were talking, Scott, about it. Scott McIntoon saying it was a spiritual retreat. Truer words can't be spoken.
Right.
Right.
It's phenomenal. Yeah, for me, it's a special event to be able to go from. I was speaking to Mark, and I was like, it's kind of going from member to mentor, and yeah, it does hold a special place in my heart.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, having been a member, how much has the club changed over the years that since when you were going and now when you started as a pro out there for the event, like to now? I mean, it's just a phenomenal place.
Oh boy, I mean, when I went there was 3 carpet ball tables, several pool tables, the wood shop, and when you walked in, if you went to the right, that was where we ate. The eating facility wasn't there when I was there, and it was there was like I said, 3 carpet ball tables, which is just a phenomenal game if you ever got to play it. You'll love it.
Oh yeah.
And but as far as the general layout of it, it's pretty much the same. They've done several upgrades and improvements, and it's just, these boys are just they got everything at the touch of a hand to play with and interact and learn, and it teaches them to start becoming a man. And I think that's what's important for all of us guys, is to have that mentorship as you start to transition into a man, because it's not easy.
Well, that's exactly right.
True.
And especially for, some of these kids that don't have that positive role model in their life, to lead them along the way and say, hey, this is a decision that you should be making, and this one is not a decision you should be making.
Well, right. And like I said the other night, I grew up in a home with a little bit of drinking and lots of arguments, and my grandpa, like I said, was just a very formidable man in my world, and I've always wanted to be like him. He was a soldier, and I thought he stood up straight, he walked different, he talked different, and I like that. And I've always been a very structural person. If you talk to Euler and BCAV, they're like, well, what do you think we do? Well, I think we should go around here or do this or that. I got to have that structure, and I got to ask questions all the time. So, it's just how I am.
Well, and obviously it's worked out for you, Chris. Chris, you touched on it a little bit earlier, but you actually joined the military after high school?
Yes, right after high school, I graduated in May, and in July, I was off to boot camp at South Carolina, to Aberdeen, Maryland for AIT, and then I was stationed at Fort Stewart, and then my PCS to Fort Riley. And at Fort Riley, I used to ride horses for the Army.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, when you're born in Midland, Texas, was there an option?
Well, I guess not. I mean, So no, it's been awesome, and being a club member, and I think having that club experience and interacting with other people and not just your siblings, I think that really prepared me for the military.
Right.
What is your job right now, like in the military?
Well, I spent 20 years as a diesel mechanic, and then about a year and a half ago, I was like, I'm getting too old for some of this stuff. So I got into another career field where I do industrial hygiene now.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
So I take lead samples and ventilation calculations and stuff like that in shops.
Cool.
Military shops.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it, in a deal like the military, I guess, it takes all kinds. I wasn't even aware that there was something like that.
Yeah, neither was I until a couple years ago, and I got kind of interested in it and I'm kind of gearing myself towards, more of the office side of things instead of the physical demanding stuff of climbing on trucks and building engines and stuff like that.
Leave that for the young bucks.
Yeah, it's their turn to do it. I did it for 20 years, and they're accomplished men. They can handle it.
Well, we appreciate it, Chris. I mean, we truly do. I know we've told you before, but both me and Matt are extra pro military, and we appreciate all of your service.
Oh, well, thank you guys. And we all hold a part in our communities about serving our communities, whether you're building something in a community or you're a first responder or you're military. Just look at the other day when all them first responders and prior military and everybody stood up. I mean, that was quite a number for that event.
It really was.
Absolutely.
That was cool when they did that. I was glad they recognized everybody.
Very cool.
That was, yeah.
They're heroes. They're all heroes. Everybody. This event just brings out the great in everybody. And as you can see, everybody opened their wallets up and was very, very generous. And what about that meal? I mean,
jeez. Oh, jeez.
Holy cow.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't go back and get some more.
You had a full quarter beef on your plate. You ate more than I did.
I know I did. I was getting after it.
Wow.
That barbecue looked pretty good.
Oh, that brisket was it was insane. I mean, it was just so awesome. Everything from the venue to the camaraderie, that everybody and everything was just, I think number 5 for me was the best one I've had so far.
I'll agree. Number 3 for me was.
Yeah, this one, having been my first year last year compared to this year, I mean, it was just an absolute blast, and I thought it was really cool. You mentioned carpet ball a little bit ago at the club. I thought it was pretty cool that they brought that to the banquet this year and had a carpet ball game. I mean, it kind of brings that a little bit full circle too. Everybody loves carpet ball.
I think the club's known for it.
Right. So, I mean, to have it at the banquet was pretty awesome.
Oh, it's just such a heartfelt experience to be part of that. And you just can't, you don't always, we get caught up in life and how things are going in our jobs and paying taxes and getting gas money and, just everything. And sometimes it's nice to just, I didn't think about anything but that boy and getting ready to take him fishing this weekend. It was primo.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Now, Chris, you're a member of the community out there in Rapid City. And I mean, if anyone sees it firsthand, it's you. How important is the club for that community? I sometimes I think, with us living over here in Northwest Iowa, I'm not 100% sure that people really realize that, there are young kids out in a community, that's still in the United States that, I mean, like in Rapid City, South Dakota, they don't have snow booths. I mean, how important is this club for that community?
I don't know how to answer for everybody, but I think it's one of those things that people know it's there, and they really get a taste of it when one of their kids go, or they're one of their kids' friends say, I go to the boys club and this is what I do and stuff. And then that sparks an interest, and then, it's a domino effect. But as far as I'm concerned, it keeps these kids from going home, being by themselves, playing video games, eating junk food, and being unsupervised.
Right.
And, idle hands has caused trouble.
Yep.
I mean, eating junk food and playing video games, I mean, that's almost the hope that that's all they do,
Right.
Well, exactly. And they start experimenting, they find dad's gun in the closet and they start messing with that. And they find dad's cigarettes in the freezer and they start smoking. The list goes on what it does for them kids, as it did for me.
Right. Now, on your 5th year, Chris, looking back, I don't care if it's this year or if it was 3 years ago. What is the highlight for you, of all your experiences with Hooked on Hardwater? What's that one experience that really sticks out to you?
Oh boy, that's a tough one because there's so many of them. I think it's the meeting a boy that night. That's you're in their territory, you're in their safe zone. I think that's the highlight for me, is having them kids be comfortable to meet a stranger, because we're all raised as we're raised, don't talk to strangers. And then what do? We introduce them to a bunch.
Right.
And
I never thought of that.
Right. Yeah.
But here we are, we're in their zone, we're in their safe spot. And that gives them kids a chance to wheel us around by the hand and say, look at what I do over here, and I enjoy this. And to me, that really brings it out for me. And of course, we all know that first fish a kid catches is just epic.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I was 40 years old and I drew a deer tag, and I never shot a Black Hills buck before. I think I talked about this at the banquet. And Mr. Euler wanted to take me out to shoot my first buck. And it's still the picture on my phone of him having his big old hand around me, with a big smile behind that deer. And it's the picture on my cell phone. And I think he's been part of the club for 53 years. He took the time to mentor a 40-year-old through a deer hunt. So it never stops for the man.
No, it doesn't.
I think that's with all the people at the club. I mean, I don't think that there's a person at the club that doesn't have, the best interest in those boys, and it's for the long haul. I mean, it ain't until they turn 18 and kick them out into the world. I mean, I think if you're 27 and you need help and you are a boys club member, you're still part of the team.
Oh, yes. One of the guys handed me at the banquet, we had these old, real hard cards when we were members, and they were a quarter if you lost it. And I was telling Mark about it, and at the banquet, he brought me one of them card, and on the expiration, it said NA.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I mean, the emotions that we all go through with this is just, the only thing I can compare it to is, coming home from the desert. All the emotions of a year being gone and seeing your wife and home and being back in my safe zone, that's the kind of emotions it stirs up for me,
Right.
That's awesome, man. Absolutely awesome.
So,
Chris, you got any plans yet this year to hit the ice some more?
boy, I sure hope so. If I'm not, I might have to put one of them squeaky floaties around my waist if we keep having these temperatures and a set of fins on, so I can float around. But we still got some ice in the hills, and we went up to Ormond and had an epic day the other day, and just really beat on the walleyes, and it was just a lot of fun. I hope we get to go out some more. But I wouldn't mind it if it turned like this and we got to put the boats in the water either.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
You and Shantha got that new boat, and me and Matt had the privilege of getting out and fishing with you guys out on the Missouri River here, last fall, and I don't know. I'm kind of at that spot right now where it's like,
if it goes, it goes.
Yeah,
if it stays,
exactly.
it stays.
The thing I don't want is this crap where we're going to get really nice weather enough to kill the ice,
and then it doesn't come off the lakes.
And then it doesn't come off the lakes. We just got crap ice out there. And then, here at the end of March and, beginning of April, it's going to be cold enough that you can't be out there, but warm enough that we're not building any more ice. I got this bad feeling.
I call that my tooling time.
Yeah.
That's my tooling time. When I can't ice fish and I can't open water fish, that's my time to check fuses in the boat, check all my electrical connections, resolder things, shrink wrap things, test batteries. That's my system. As you guys know, my wife and I fish together. So when something goes wrong in the boat, it goes from fun to uh-oh.
I believe that.
She's been married to a mechanic we've been married since 2007, so when something goes wrong, she expects it fixed now. And sometime all I got's a Helix 7 or a 12 and a pair of pliers, and what I do for a Phillips screwdriver right now.
See, I've never been very handy, so my wife just doesn't expect anything out of me. That's when I call a friend like you, and you know what, Peters is going to come take care of this.
That's what I call myself on my toolbox, because it's like, I got to fix something, I got to call somebody.
Call my brother Mike.
Yep.
Well, that's kind of how Euler and ECAV and myself got started in our friendship. We talked about that rack on the back of it. I built that for his machine, and we just met at Cabela's, and the three of us just sparked up a friendship. And we're kind of like the three amigos sometimes. Like, we did the trip to Peck, and we are doing another trip to Kennebec this summer.
Oh yeah.
So we can't go a season without that. I mean, we didn't catch many fish, but Matt was showing me how to use a net the right way.
Well, you
don't
caught
use
a
it
net.
as an axe.
You caught a net too.
Yeah, I did catch a net. Yeah, so I was the net guy.
That's awesome.
It was fun. It's just knowing these people, and you get to a point where you can look at a map and just about throw a dart in the ice belt, and somebody there.
No, that is absolutely the best. The connections that are made, I mean, obviously Hooked on Hardwater's for the boys, but I mean, meeting all these people and going and fishing up here and then meeting their friends, and that's basically the best part really about the whole entire fishing industry.
I think that's one thing I really like about the event too, besides what we're there for, but how everybody's able to let their guard down a little bit.
Yep.
It's just like everybody's kind of an open book, and like you're there all for the same reason. You're on the same team. It's just you can go up and talk to anybody, and everybody's just genuinely happy to see each other.
Oh, it's amazing when everybody starts to come into town, and I'm looking at my time card and I'm like, no, should I take this day and this day off, or should I just take the whole week off? How do I do this? How do I get around to seeing everybody? And one of my buddies, Monty, looked at me the other day, and he pops me in the shoulder and he goes, "Hey, Peters, how much money do you think is sitting on the ice right now?" And I says, "I wish I had it."
Yeah. That's right.
I always like to say you see more hugs than handshakes out there.
Yep.
And that is a truth. You'd never see anybody drive off in their pickup without giving somebody a hug.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, leaving the Hill City Cafe on Sunday morning, I mean, I think we hugged everybody.
Right.
I'm surprised I didn't hug the waitress.
You did when she brought your meal.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just, there's, I don't even know. I use words like epic, legendary, and I don't even think that really encompasses what this is about. And like I said, it's so many different things with so many different people, but these guys that travel forever just to pay for the trip and then to spend it with that boy, I mean, that really speaks volumes about the caliber of people that I consider really good friends of mine, and them are the kind of people that I want to be surrounded with, because at the end of the day, when you don't have the money and stuff, you can still be a rich man by the people that and help and take care of, and they take care of you. And I consider myself that way because of the quality people I have around me.
Definitely.
Well, and us too, Chris. We're lucky that things work out the way that they do, and we've gotten to become friends with you, and and Shantha. We're truly blessed.
Yeah, this wouldn't even be happening. I probably wouldn't even be in the boat I'm in without my wife. She's my angel. It's just that saying there, behind every man's a good woman, and my goodness, she's definitely my bright star. Would never be able to be any kind of the man I am now without her.
No doubt about it. You got a good one, pal.
Oh boy, she's awesome.
Yep. Well, Chris, we definitely appreciate you taking the time to chat with us, and I mean, it truly is awesome. You know, the fact, like we mentioned, you know, coming full circle. You know, I mean, you've gone through the boys' club, you came out, you know, you've become a successful man. You know, a person that people can look up to, and I don't know, you know, on a recap show like this. There's no one better than you to be on, and we truly thank you for taking the time to sit and chat with us.
I sure do appreciate the time and stuff, and I'm really glad you guys made it home safe. I was really worried about that last night, and I was texting everybody that was driving. I just needed that peace of mind that everybody was home safe, and I'm glad you guys got it through the weather and made it home and back to your families, and thank you for the opportunity. And I can't wait to get the long sticks out and go find some more water with you guys this summer.
No doubt.
For sure.
Hopefully it ain't too long, and we'll be back together setting some hooks.
I like it. I like the way you think.
Awesome, man. Well, we'll talk at you later, pal.
Thank you, gentlemen. We'll talk soon.
You bet. See ya.
Bye-bye.
And there goes Chris Peters, our good buddy and past Club for Boys member, and now hooked on Hardwater Pro. So we thank Chris for joining us. Matt, you know, I asked Chris, I asked Maggie what their highlights were. What's your highlight?
My highlight would have to, you know, would be, you know, the fishing is fun. I mean, it's why we're out there, is to fish and hang out with these kids. But I think the hanging out part, the socializing part, was like the funnest part. We caught our fish, you know, you get talking with the kids, but then pretty soon the fishing slows down and everybody starts to kind of mingle with each other,
right,
and kind of flip each other some grief and everything like that. And everybody just starts having a good time out there. And like I said with Chris, it's fun to see the pros let their guard down. The kids, you know, let their guard down, and everybody is just having just a good old time out there.
Right. One of the really cool things that I think I kind of experienced was you know, not only with you, Matt, you know, I mean, anyone who listens to this podcast understands that me and Matt flip each other a ton of crap. And, you know, I mean, the Cox boys, we flip the Cox boys a ton of craps. You know, our buddy Scott, you know, whatever. We, you know, that's our way of having fun, is, you know, flipping crap and making fun of each other. And, you know, I mean, no one's going to get away with anything in our crew. You know, I mean, if
right.
if you do something, it's going to be pointed out.
You got to try to, when you mess up or do something, you're kind of looking around like, please say nobody saw that.
Exactly. So, you know, one of the really cool things that I think I experienced was the one time when I walked up to Zach and his boy, and then one of the times when I walked up to you and your boy, I said to the kid, "Hey, how does it feel like to have the worst pro here?" And I mean, just the look on those boys' face, like they look at me and it's like, "Hey, you do not say that."
Right.
Like,
they're ready.
That is my pro, and he is the man. I mean, I truly think every single one of those boys there, like, feels like their pro is the man. Like, I mean, it just, I don't know. I think that's really, that really says a lot about the whole entire program. You know, just, I mean, you know, I mean, they got their pros back. Like, I mean,
they do.
I mean, they do. I mean, when me and Lockwood, we got into a wrestling match out there, and I took Lockwood down or whatever, and kind of got on top of him, and, you know, Lockwood was saying, "Hey, you know, difference in weight
coming
divisions."
Up with some excuses,
some weight division stuff, and I don't know, I wasn't really listening to him, but you know, like afterwards, my boy like said to me, he's like, "You know, that was awesome, man." You bet your ass it was awesome.
He's walking around saying, "We whooped his butt."
Champs. So,
tag team.
Yep. No, I don't know. I mean, we can sit here and we can talk about it forever. I mean, how much this event means to us and, you know, whatever. I mean, we've had Craig on. Now we've had Maggie. We've had Chris. We've had B-Cav. We've had, you know, Merwin. We've had, you know, Brower. I mean, these are all guys that have been out there, you know, pros for Hooked on Hardwater. And if you ask any one of them, I mean, it's the same thing. A, you can't really put it into words. B, you know, it's the most magical thing in the whole entire world. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is. It is. It's words just can't explain what it means to everybody involved. All the people that, you know, work hard for it,
Right.
to put it together, from people bringing a meal out onto the ice for everybody to eat and enjoy. I mean, it's just it's just awesome.
I mean, a lot of this stuff is donated. Those meals are donated, I mean, everything, we said it earlier, but everybody's on the same team. Like, I mean, you just look around and there's not anyone that doesn't have a smile on their face.
Right.
It's just like, man, we're doing this and we're rocking and rolling and it's freaking awesome.
Well, like I said, we have the easy part.
Oh,
everybody
we get
comes
all the
up,
credit.
Right. Everybody comes up to us and they're like, "Oh, that's so awesome you do that." And it's just like, we show up on Friday night. We're a ear for the kids to listen to, somebody that is genuinely interested in the kids. The kids just love it. And besides, we get to go in there, play bingo with them. Guys like Jim Gerard just about have heart attacks playing dodgeball out there.
Shots fired.
So, I mean, it really is the easy part. If it takes us a couple hours to go to the club, hang out with them, have a good old time, get to know them, and then in the morning get up, get the gear all set up, what we normally do if we were going out fishing.
Right.
And, make it the most positive experience for those kids. I mean, we do really have the easiest part of the whole deal. I mean, is it rewarding? It's very rewarding, and everybody involved would probably say the same thing. But it is. It's just an amazing event.
Right. I mean, I truly feel like we try our hardest, I mean, not that we really even have to. I mean, going down there and playing dodgeball is fun. Going and playing basketball is fun. Going and doing these craft projects is fun. Eating a bunch of food with your boy is fun. I mean, when I say we truly try, it's not like, oh, geez, we'd rather be doing something else. Like, I mean, you're literally asking us to fill our bellies with food, play a bunch of games, and then go fishing with these kids. Like, I mean, it's really a chore. Like, hell no. Like, this is freaking awesome. Like,
Right.
I mean, I would pay to go and do this. I mean, it's fun. And then people are like, oh, wow, thanks for giving your time. Really? Like, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Thanks for allowing us to do this.
I feel like we give. I mean, yeah, I get it. We give, but I receive way more than what I could
Exactly.
possibly ever give.
Exactly
and,
right.
I mean, that's really the key. I think every single person that's involved in this experience comes away a winner, and that does not happen very often.
And that's the thing I love is, like I said, is the pros they let their guards down.
Right.
A lot of people might be like, I ain't playing no dodgeball. I'm not going to do
BS.
that. And then I mean, that kid's like, we're playing, like I want to play. So it's just like, all right. And then pretty soon the guy that's just like, I'm just going to stand back here against the wall. I'm not playing. They're the ones that are jumping around and they're sweating, drenched in sweat and just about having heart attacks out there, getting hit in the face. And yeah, it's just a blast.
Right. Now, aside from Hooked on Hardwater, we actually did some fishing on our own out there, and I think both of us, you had never caught a cutthroat before, had you?
No, that was my first cutthroat.
So both of us knocked 2 species off the bucket list, and not only just off the bucket list, but through the ice. We ran up to Center Lake, and we both got a few tiger trout.
Yep.
And on top of the tiger trouts, they've also stocked cutthroat in there. And I think we caught our first, second, third, and 30th cutthroat out of there. I mean, this was nonstop action, and I don't care. I mean, none of these fish were trophy quality fish. It's not like, oh, wow, like, man, this was really something special. But, I mean, we were out there with Jim Bussell, the Coxes, the Whitstrucks, the hike camps from Dakota Angler over in Sioux Falls. And, I mean, we were having an absolute riot out there.
We were. I mean it was...
that was one of the funnest days of fishing I've ever had in my whole entire life.
I know at the banquet, Jim came up to me, and he was just like, he was talking to a couple that he knew, and they saw us, and they're like, hey, they're a couple listeners and stuff. And they were like, oh, that's those guys that you listen to on the podcast. And he's like, and he told him, he goes, you know what the great thing is? Those guys are the same on the ice as they are like listening on the podcast. They'll
I
flip
hate your
each other.
guts no matter where we're at.
Exactly right. I don't want to see you catch more fish than me.
I did.
I know you did.
Yeah.
And it made me mad.
You heard it here first.
It made me mad. I'm over there every time you're raising that rod up to the sky, I mean, that's a mega motor hook set you were having over there. I think everybody in the Black Hills, they were probably like, man, it's pretty early, it would be early or late for the elk to be bugling, but that's kind of what it sounded like every time you Got one.
That's
So
I mean there are times when a guy's just got to toot his own horn. I was on my game this weekend.
you were on fire.
The whole weekend.
Well, not in the tournament, but
Horse shit.
you finished behind me in the tournament, so you weren't on your game.
Sorry for freaking swearing here, but I had my 10 before you even. I think I had my 10 before you had 2.
That's because you were keeping those 3-inch potato chip ones.
When we went into this, we said we're keeping our first 10 bluegills, and then I was up socializing. I was up megamoting. I was up getting in people's face and letting them know, like, if you're not using these brands, then F you.
Hey, you.
I didn't say that.
I know you didn't. But hey, you had the opportunity to do a little filming.
I did.
Tip of the week.
I did. It took me 3 times.
It did.
Took me 3 times.
Last year, I went straight Ricky Bobby the first time.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Like,
No, that guy, I'll say he had patience or whatever. And, I kind of knew what I was going to say in my head a little bit. And then we kind of got going, and I'm like, oh, shoot, I already said that once. And so it got done, and it's like, man. And you're always your worst critic. So I'm like, I'm kind of thinking maybe he's going to be like, well, that wasn't too bad. And he's like, yeah, you kind of had a couple stumbles there.
He doesn't mess around. He's like, nah, probably let's redo that one.
He looked me in the eyes, gave me a couple firm chest pokes, and said, that sucked. you suck.
But you got to respect a person for doing that.
Right.
They didn't try to be like, well, it's okay. No, just tell me. If it was garbage, it was garbage. Let's do this.
I mean, mega motors, you don't build a good mega motor overnight.
No, you don't.
And so I tried again, and the second time it got done, and we decided, And the third time, I feel like when I got done, it was like, holy smokes, I don't think I really messed up that bad. You never say things exactly like what you're going to say. Like on the podcast here, like if I screw up, it's like, oh, piss on it, whatever. Like, I don't even care.
Right.
Who cares? Like, this is our damn show, and we'll say whatever the frick we want. When you're doing it for somebody else and you're doing it on film, and, we're trying to get things done, like in under 1 minute or whatever. If you screw up, it's like, I don't know. I guess it's a little bit bigger deal. I think I was designed for podcasts and not cameras.
Right. Well, you definitely got a face for podcasting, not, for camera. So.
God damn it. I
you
set
myself up for that. That was like a big, that was really easy soft toss right there.
I truly put it on the tee for you. And
there it goes.
Like, hey,
Spring
drip.
training.
Hey, drip. Knock it.
Over center field. Dead center that one went.
Piss on you.
But
Piss on you.
It was awesome. The banquet was awesome. Like Chris said, the food, the auction was just, I was getting into that auction. Like, I was just about ready just to throw my hand up just to say that I bid on something.
You don't want to because there wasn't a damn thing that went under $1,000.
But that's why I like be the first bet. Like, all right,
yep.
So I'm out.
Just to say you did it. Just to say you did it. No, I was talking to Craig, a couple days beforehand, and that mule deer hunt that was donated by Jim Skull, local construction guy out there in the Black Hills. Me and Craig were kind of talking, and Craig's like, man, that thing is worth, at least $4,000. I hope that we can, do it right.
Yep.
You don't want a guy, to give up a prime time mule deer hunt like that, knowing full well that thing's worth $4,000 and, brings, $1,100. It's like, that ain't worth a toot. But, what did it bring? Like freaking 10, 9, 8?
Yeah. And that was a fun one because that got into a little bit of a bidding war, and it was like boom, boom, boom.
Those
boom.
two that were bidding on it were like the heavy hitters of Rapid.
And they were just like boom, boom, boom. And everybody's like, oh. It was cool. Everybody gave them standing ovation.
It was awesome.
Standing ovation after it was done. And it was just crazy. It was fun to watch.
It was. And
people get into it so much and start bidding like crazy. People even paid big money to go fish with Scott Merwin.
Wow. Wow, that was
a low blow.
Lockwood too.
Well, yeah.
Lockwood too. No, there was
it's awesome that those guys donate trips and stuff like that to for great causes like that.
Yep, and it's awesome that people are willing to spend 3-4 times
Yeah.
more than what you could just, call up the guide and get. They know it's going to a good cause. There was people that were buying lights and jerseys just to hold on to them for the year.
Yep.
And then next year you get to auction it back off again. And I mean, it wasn't like they were giving $25 for it. They're spending thousands of dollars for lights for a year. And in any time, I mean, it goes without saying, but any time that you can, get somebody to spend that much money, for something that they're not even going to really, get to keep forever. I mean, that really goes to show you how much this program, this event, everything that goes along with it means to the people, but more importantly, the community of Rapid City.
Right.
So
such an awesome event.
Yep. Matt, I don't know. You got a good news story? I'm going to go first because I don't want you stealing my good news story.
Go.
My good news story, my boy Dan Teeslink coming away with the big drawing for the ATV or $10,000.
10,000 or 8,000?
10.
Jeez.
10 G's. You know who sold that ticket?
You?
Scott Sturman, big ticket seller. I feel like I would know what it would be like to be a gas station attendant that sold the winning Powerball ticket.
Right. I honestly will say that I was in the bathroom when they did the
I
drawing.
know you were.
And I kept walking.
Because I got up and I was like running around calling Dan, like doing hood rat stuff. And all of a sudden I'm like, where the frick is Matt? Like, I mean, because no one else there knows who Dan Teeslink is.
Right.
Like, I literally jumped out of my seat and I'm like, I sold that ticket. And everyone turns around and they're like, what are you going to do? Take the ATV or the cash? And I'm like, wait. I'm not Dan. I'm Scott. I just sold that ticket to Dan. And, everyone's like, oh, yeah, well, no one knows who Dan is. No one knows who I am.
I'd have been like, we'll take the cash.
Yeah. Yeah, my license actually says Scott Sturman, but that's just for tax
It's an
reasons.
alias. So.
When you're a heavy-hitting mega motor like myself, you need a couple aliases. But, god dang it, it was freaking awesome. We had actually thought about calling Dan, but this is getting a little bit later than what we expected tonight. Maybe we'll get Dan on sometime. Dan is freaking awesome. Would be absolutely hilarious to talk to. I know that he told me when I called him, he was sleeping. He woke up and his heart was racing so fast that he went to the kitchen, pounded a couple beers, and then went back to bed. And that right there is a Dan Teeslink answer. So, no,
congratulations to Dan.
Absolutely, freaking awesome. He's taking the cash, by the way.
It was even better because last year when they did it, the person whose name was drawn, like nobody even knew.
Right,
nobody
they had bought
knew
it
who it
at
was.
the thrift store.
Right, so everybody was kind of like everybody looked around like so to kind of put a face kind of to the person that won. It was like, oh, all right, this is awesome.
Yep. I got another good news story. I might have a couple more.
I have a couple actually.
My next good news story is going to be the freaking killer awesome T-shirts that I brought out there.
That was actually going to be
okay.
one of
Go
mine.
ahead. Go ahead.
No. Go with it. I'll just piggyback off of that one because I have another one too.
I told you I've got a couple more, and
Okay.
I might take yours. All right. I'm telling it. All right. So I had these T-shirts made by Blake Shipper downtown at Rapid Graphics, and I had just typed in 7 cowboys on Google. This image popped up of 7 cowboys sitting on horses, and so I wrote Cox Ranch, Mullen, Nebraska underneath of it, and had all of our names put onto it. And then I gave them to the Cox boys, Matt, Scott Mockentune, who actually rode out there with us. He's from Minneapolis. And we got this picture of all of us. It was freaking awesome. And so I don't know. I just thought it was freaking awesome.
Right. And to piggyback off that, my good news story is I'm the least cowboy person out of that whole bunch. And it feels like an honor to be able to be on the T-shirt and kind of be, quote unquote, in the Cox family.
In the Cox crew.
So
I had a cowboy hat shaped over a stove.
Like, how cool is that?
By a real cowboy, Zach Cox.
That's right.
Another good story. Which one's your next story?
No, go ahead. Just keep going.
How about the ATV?
What about the ATV? Oh,
so Zach won this toy like Power Wheel John Deere Gator. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you see the picture of it. So he calls his wife as we're leaving the banquet and says, "Hey, babe, I won that the side by side, oh man, calving's going to be so awesome this year. And, oh, it's just going to make life around the ranch so much better and this and that. And I mean, she's eating it up. And me, Matt, and Scott are like, dude you better
tell her.
You better come straight with her or frickin' she's going to rip your nuts off. And he doesn't. All of a sudden he's like, well, talk to you later. Love you. And we all look at him. We're like, dude, you are freaking playing with fire, pal. And he's like, oh, I'll tell her tomorrow. Well, I got a message from Aaron the next day and it said, hey, were you in on this? And no, I was not.
All of us were trying to talk sense into him.
That was in no way, shape, or form any of us. We all, like every single one of us in the truck was like, hey, you tell her. And he just did some Zach Cox stuff and said, I'm doing my own thing. So, all right, what do you got, Matt?
Well, one of mine is just the amount of people that came up to us out at the event and told us how much they appreciate the podcast.
Right.
So, everybody that came up, talked to us, you know who you are. Thanks for listening. Thanks for letting us call you dirtbags.
Yeah, right.
And it's just awesome that you guys acknowledge the time that we put into this. So thank you guys very much for being listeners and enjoying the podcast.
Absolutely. I mean, that was a pretty nice good news story for a dirtbag like you.
I know.
So with that, I think we're going to call a conclusion to episode 113. Next week, episode 114.
And we got some new additions to the show. Some new segments.
We do?
Yeah. Name that lake.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So, we'll just quick touch on that just to kind of give you guys a little foreshadowing. Up in Minnesota and Wisconsin, I believe they're Native American names. Some of these are pretty hard to pronounce, and I mean, like I can't even barely pronounce Okoboji and Winnebagosh and all that type of stuff. So Matt and Scott Mockington have decided that they are going to come up with a list of lakes, and I'm gonna I don't know, get to read them or something like that and try my best to pronounce them, and then we're gonna find out the real answer. And what did we say that we were going to go? 12 lakes?
12, or maybe we'll just go like a couple an episode.
Okay, I like that. I do like that.
Right.
I do like that. For a moron, that was a good idea.
Well, that's 12 is a lot for you to concentrate about and think about.
Matt, you can't even read.
I don't have to. I'm a PE teacher.
That's right.
Speaking of reading, too, good news story. Our buddy Scott was nice enough to write an article about the podcast.
That was another thing that I wanted to say. It's on our Facebook page. If you are not on our Facebook page, I don't know what to do. What's that thing called?
It's the Mankato Press.
Mankato Press. Mankato Free Press. Is that what it is?
Something.
Hold on. I'm pulling up my cell phone. Whose phone is faster, mine or the Drips? And
MankatoFreePress.com.
Damn it.
So,
all right. Yeah, go to Mankato Free Press. What's the title called? Okay, Mock and Tune.
Yep.
Fishing podcast highlights host's ability to chit chat. And I think if you probably just type that in on Google, you should be able to come up with it. It's a real nice article written by a dirtbag from Minneapolis. And just kind of says all the sweet stuff that how this whole dang thing came to be. So I don't know, whatever. I truly think this is one of those nights where we could just ramble on forever. So we better just we're going to call a stop to it now. Maybe we can just roll this into 114. So with that, we will talk at you guys next week. Thanks for being patient. Later.